let's see, basically in the 70s or the 80s, when I was talking about the liberalism, really left some things out. But we saw a lot of liberalism in TV. I mean, Steinberg, where it really peaked out, I thought, where you had liberalism on TV was the 80s. When you had the Phil Donahue Copycat shows, and you had the 60 Minute spin-offs, including Primetime Live. They're pretty hard-hitting. They almost brought down Food Lion, whatever. I mean, but whether that's good, I mean, bringing down a company isn't necessarily good, but the First Amendment is important. And let's see, we had basically you had a lot of this stuff, I mean, that they did, the liberalism in the 80s. It may have done some bad things, but what the good thing it did was it created an independent party, a strong independent party with Ross Perot on CNN. And plus you had a lot of stuff on MTV. You had Stream Elizabeth, you had Madonna wrapped up in the flag. You had a commercial about telling kids to take their parents' credit cards, go to the West Coast if their parents were abusive. It got them out of, an abusive situation. And let's see, Madonna wrapped up in the flag. You had the motor voter bill, which put Jesse Ventura in the Minnesota, which, it had to do with a strong independent party. And so you had Ross Perot in the debate, too. So you saw a lot of liberalism where you had so much, but now then they took over a lot of these, and MTV's been taken over by a conglomerate. And to me, my opinion is I probably should not mention the name of the conglomerate because it could get me a libel suit or something. I don't know. But I just don't want to mess with it. But a conglomerate took over MTV, and I would equate that pretty much with the Ku Klux Klan taking over the NAACP. Essentially, I mean, they got in there, they shut off all the Seattle bands. That's the first thing they did. MTV's not really MTV anymore. It's like they're pushing corporate politics off on kids. And it's not, I don't want my kids watching that. I really don't, because MTV is not MTV, and kids watch it, think it still is. And everything's, the hard right, and pretty much what I've seen on it. And they're pushing, I don't know if there's, but I know with CBS, you have a lot of anti-individuality, a lot of conformist stuff. It's wrong to be an individual, wrong to be an independent thinker. And basically it's just corporate politics. And MTV, I think, is the same thing. And they're talking about, they had a bunch of stuff about farming. I'm against farming. It does bother me to see it on MTV. It's supposed to be about music. But are they going to tell you anything about farming? Like, for example, one thing you won't hear on MTV, if they do talk about farming, I mean, you got, the meat packers. You got a cow costs so much money. They get, I don't know how much they get, $300 a cow or something, I don't know. But you figure out the price of steak, and that cow's worth a lot more than that farmer gets. Well, who gets it all? The meat packers. There is a way that farmers, without a farm union or anything else, could get back from the meat packers, and that would be to vertically integrate. In other words, they could put a packing plant on their farm. They could have a grocery store on their farm. The beginning product to the finished product, everything, the grocery store, everything on their farm, that would cut into the meat packers. And there's probably laws against it. But how many of these laws were put through from a campaign money that came out of the meat packers that were put through Congress to stop the farmer from taking a bite out? And if and the feds came in and shut down the farmer, who are those feds working for? The meat packers. Well, is MTV going to tell you this? I doubt it. With the corporate America owning MTV now, not very likely. Was that even on? Yeah.